Sometimes I really want to get inside the heads of these employers in hiring people. We really need to talk about the extremely high unemployment rate in the blindness community. I know the disability community as a whole has a very high unemployment rate, but today we're just focusing on blindness because I am part of that community. As some of you may know, and by some I mean probably none of you, I had a previous position as a contractor working for a nonprofit staffing agency for people with disabilities run by people with disabilities. I was their marketing and outreach contact, and in addition to that I did several other things. I wore many hats. I did a monthly newsletter, I fielded inquiries, I taught a professional development workshop several times a month on virtual meeting etiquette as well as social media etiquette and emailing etiquette. You know, like maybe don't write the entire body of your email in the subject line. Do you know how many times I see that come across my inbox? It's not just blind people who do that, I feel. I've definitely seen it from sighted people, but the more often that I have seen it, it has been from people who are blind. And I don't understand that because the screen reader tells you that you're in the subject line. So why would you write the entire body of your email in the subject line? I'm getting off track. My point is, it was a contracting position. I was hoping it would have become full-time. Unfortunately, it did not, and they decided not to renew my contract, much to my dismay. However, looking back on it, even though it was a great experience working there, I gained experience. I grew a lot because I was basically put off on my own for most of the things that I did. The other issue that I faced was a lack of communication and a little bit of toxicity, but I don't want to go into all of that. It is so difficult to get a job, and I don't want to throw a pity party. I know that the job market is not great in general now, and it hasn't been for the last several years, I feel like. If you are a person with a disability, specifically if you are a blind or visually impaired person, nobody wants to hire you. And it's really disheartening because like the only jobs that I see floating around on these employment lists that I get across my inbox, marketing to blind people, are jobs at schools for the blind, services for the blind, like your state commission or what have you, vocational rehab teacher for the services, a teacher for the school for the blind, and awake overnight for the school for the blind, attorneys, because for some reason there are a lot of blind people who go into law. Why, I don't know, but it's something I've noticed. It's not your typical thing that you might see. Like there's not software engineer, cybersecurity person, security administrator, something like that, even just generic office admin. It's really just people being shoehorned into a bubble, and I don't get it. You can do, as a blind person, basically anything a sighted person can do except drive. We can use computers fully fine. The only issue is that the thing that we are using, the program to do work, may or may not be accessible, and that's a huge problem, but that's not our fault that it's not accessible. That's the software developer or the website developer or whatever that has not made it accessible. And it really kills me because here is a group of people who is able to work and able to do so many things, and yet we're just so much put into a box and kind of ostracized and not really taken seriously when it comes to the world of employment. And I don't get it. I really don't. This is my hate letter to just all of the nonsense that people who are blind and disabled have to put up with when it comes to getting a job. Disclosing your disability, when do you do that? Doing the application, if you're completely blind, is it accessible? Then when you get to the workplace, is the things that you're gonna be using, are they accessible? I had a job once in an office doing some data entry, and the IT guy, I kid you not, for real, spent like 45 minutes trying to figure out how to turn on Windows Magnifier and make it so it was full screen. I couldn't do that on my end for whatever reason because I was not an admin and it needed some weird permissions to make it full screen Windows Magnifier, because I don't like it when it's only portions of the screen that are magnified. It doesn't do well for my ability to focus. But the reason why I was even using Windows Magnifier in the first place is because it was a temporary position. I was filling in for somebody, I think, who was out or whatever it was. And there was no point in getting a Zoom text license. That's the other thing that's a can of worms, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future, is that IT people in corporate environments generally don't know a dang thing about accessibility and how to assist employees with disabilities. There's little to no coverage on it in their classes and certification programs. programs, but also because I feel like the work environment hinders their ability to do that because nobody's hiring people with disabilities. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me rambling. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.